Hey you all, also hi to fellow dressmakers. Welcome to another interesting tutorial. My name is Confidence. So this will be the continuation of the last video. In the last video, I showed you the simplest method you can use to draft your off-shoulder bustier, and we also cut out the pencil skirt for the down part. So we just go ahead and start joining all of the pieces together. So if you haven't seen the first video, do well to check it out because that's like a guide.
Hello, you don't even know my name, but I am happy you came by.
So I went ahead to cut the lining for both the upper part and the down part, and for the skirt the lining is 2 inches shorter, like you can see it here, and I'll be using this bra foam. It's actually a foam for the bustier. Now for the lining of the upper part, I'll be using doll face. Now what I like to do for this back is to notch the neckline, because can you see this side now? It actually looks like the neckline. So that it doesn't confuse me, I just go ahead and notch the neckline, and that way I will know that this part will be the armhole and here the center back. I will do the same. I did the same thing for the lining too, just to make it very easy for me. And like I said, I'm using doll face for the lining of the upper part because I don't feel like pressing any interface on the lining today. So what I'm going to do now is to place this foam on it like so. This is the wrong part of the fabric, and I'm going to just stitch it on these two sides. Now go ahead and determine which side you want to be facing you on the foam. If you want the white part or this ash part, okay, go ahead and determine that. But for me, I think I want this ash color part to be facing up. So I'm going to make sure I have the same thing on this side. I marked the wrong side of the fabric, and that's where the foam will be going to. So I'm going to place it like this, and then I'm going to just run a stitch there. Do the same thing for this one. This is actually the two sides, okay, so I'll just do it separately. It's not going to be like this. Now for the skirt, this is the front part. We're just going to go ahead and do the slits now. So this is the front part and the lining too. I'm going to determine which side you want the slit to be, if it's the right or the left. Okay, if you want it on the left, that means you're going to place it this same way that you see mine. Then the next thing you go ahead and determine is the length, how low or how high you want it to be. For me, I just want it to stop on the knee line, and I'm measuring what I have there. I think I have about 24 inches from the knee to the down. I'm going to measure it on this folded part just to have a straight line, the exact 24 inches. Then what you are going to use as the wideness is your bust span. If your bust span is 9 inches, that means you're going to use 4.5. If it's 8 inches, that means you're going to use 4 inches. Mine is 8 inches, and I marked 4 inches down. From that 24 inches on the knee down, I marked 4 inches as the that's where the opening will be. Then the next thing I like to do is to go ahead and press a piece of hairstay particularly. I like to use hairstay for stuff like this, and I'll do the same thing for the line. Just go ahead and place it on the middle of that line that you marked. I pressed it already. Now I'm going to show you how to go do the lining. I'm going to place the lining like this. Make sure that the down part is going to the down part, okay, so that you know exactly where to do the slit. Press the hairstay on, and I marked it. Okay, after placing it on the main fabric, go ahead and mark it like so. Can you see now? While doing the main fabric, the waist part is going to my right hand side, while for this lining now, you see that the down part is actually going to my right hand side. Just to put it in a simple way, make sure you are not doing it exactly as you did it on the fashion fabric. Place your lining on the fashion fabric, and then just go ahead and know where to press the hairstay on. Go ahead and repeat the same thing you did on the fashion fabric. Mark your 4 inches down, and then you're going to press the hairstay on it like so. This is just to stabilize that slit part. Just go ahead and do it this way. I particularly like to use hairstay because I'll show you the reason why I like to use hairstay for something like this later on in this video. So after that, this is what I have. I'm just going to trim off this excess that I have here. After doing that on the lining, I'll take the main fabric too and trim off this excess that I have here. Then I'm going to place it like this. Then take the lining and place it right side facing right side, like the here says something will be facing you, and then you're just going to stitch on that line that you marked. It's actually visible. You can see the line, the chalk that you marked there, but in case you cannot see it clearly, go ahead and highlight it the more, just so it's easy for you. Then if you notice, I did not cut the slit first. I like to stitch it first, sew it first, then I can cut it. That way it just gives me a neater effect, and I take my time to sew the slit. Now go ahead and sew the down part first. Remember, you are going to draw up this lining by 2 inches. The lining is shorter, 2 inches shorter from the main fabric. Then you're going to sew it the same way that I'm marking it. Make sure that this end part is actually this pointy. You're not going to sew it round, just so it blends to what you have there. There is no cutting there or joining there. Just go ahead and sew it smoothly to have this arrow shape when you get to that point. So I'm going to sew down first, and after sewing the down, this is what I have. I'm going to match up the lining and then the main fabric on this waist part. At this point, I'm going to use your pin, because that's just going to make it very easy for you. Pin it down on this waist part here, and after pinning it down, you can see that the lining and then the main fabric are no longer the same, equal on this down part. Pin it down on this down part too, just to make your work very neat. And on this down part, you can see that I did not pin the lining and then the main fabric together. Just make sure that the lining draws up your fashion fabric like this, and then you're going to sew on that part that you marked. Sew with 0.25 on both sides, just to make it ½ inch after you're done sewing, or even sew with less. If you can sew on the line that you have there, it's very much advisable. Then on this part, make sure you have this shape here. Okay, make sure you have this arrow shape while you're sewing, or when you are done sewing. Let me just go ahead and mark it. If it's easier for you, just go ahead and mark it out like I'm doing here, just to make it very neat and easy for you. Mark it like this, and make sure you stitch on the line that you marked. Now if you notice, it's about ½ inch. Go ahead and repeat the same thing on yours. Sew it like that, and then after sewing, this is what I have. Can you see that? And like I said, I like to make mine as tiny as possible. You can decide to go for any wideness that you want. What matters is the wideness. Make sure you use your bust span, just so even if it's too wide, it's still going to be where it's supposed to be on your legs or your laps. Okay, I'm going to unpin, remove the pins here, and then you're going to turn the cut open. Just cut through like you slash, but make sure you do not cut through your stitches. And when you get to this end point, make it very close to the stitch, but do not cut through your stitches. Make it very close, so that by the time you turn it and iron it, it's going to be pointy and not kind of round on that point. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to explain. So when you turn it like this, and then you match up the line on the upper part, it's going to be, that same shape that you sewed, that you marked. It's going to give you that same shape. That's the essence of you notching very close to your stitches, but do not cut through the stitches. So I went ahead to iron it, and you can see how neat it is. Now this is why I said I like using haste on something like this. Can you see? It just makes it very neat, and the lining will not pop out. When you wear it, your lining coming out to show itself is not going to do like that, because the hairstay, when you press on the lining and then the main fabric, is going to hold the two fabrics together, thereby making your work very neat. Now we'll go back to the bustier. I went ahead to stitch it down like I said I would. Now I'm going to place this center part here, and then take the side, match up the under bust like this. We notch the under bust, right? Go ahead and match it up. Then you're going to sew with the ½ inch allowance that you added while transferring your pattern to the fabric. Go ahead and sew it all the way to the top. It's very easy. Then you start from the top, and sew all the way to the down. And after sewing, I also went ahead to iron it with my bust ham. So if you use a foam like I use here, it's very important that you use a bust ham, either a professional one or the one you made yourself, to iron the bust area just to give it this curvy effect. And then on this upper part, you can see the result of what we did on the pattern. It's actually very equal on this part here, no excess. I haven't trimmed. And for the lining, I joined the lining too and iron it. You can see the notches there. And you're going to place it like this, and then you're going to sew around the neckline. Do the same thing for the back. And after that, this is what I have. Can you see that? You should actually be proud of your bustier game, just like me. Now, because of the kind of finishing I'm going for, I'm going to take the skirt part, the front part, obviously. Then I'm going to get the midpoint, notch the center of both the main fabric and then the lining. I'll do the same thing for the other part, for the upper part. And after getting the midpoint of both the upper part and then the down part, the skirt part, I'm going to take the main fabric, just the fashion fabric yet. Then you see the lining is left out. I'm going to match up the midpoint, that part that we notched, and I'm going to join it. Then I'm going to join the lining like this. And you see that just follow the same shape it gives you. Join the upper part, the main fabric, and then you follow the step that you see there, the guide that you see there, and join the lining. It's not a rocket science. Then for the back, I went ahead to just close it, the center back, for the skirt part like this, and then I first turned it and then I closed it and left a space for the zipper. Now I'm going to take the upper part like this, then I'm going to match the center back of the upper part and then the center back of the skirt part like this, and I'm going to join it just the same way, just like you want to turn a shoulder. Go ahead and do the same thing for this skirt part. And after that, this is what I have. Can you see? I also went ahead to turn the armhole since there is no sleeve. Now if you're going for this particular style, you can actually make this, blend this part just so it's not pointed like this. You can actually cut it like you're cutting a tube dress, but I did mine like this because I know she might change her mind to add sleeves, which she later did. Now after doing all of that, you're going to place the front, the front part like this. Make it in a way that the wrong side of the front is facing you, and then you're going to place the back part on it like so, and in a way that the right side of the back is facing you. Then you're going to match up the waist joining, the waistline joining that you have there. It's very important, since that's the only joining that you have there. Go ahead and match it up, both the front and then the back. Then you're going to pin it from up to down, and then after that you're just going to sew it, just join it with 1/2 inch or 0.25, but 1/2 inch is very advisable, so that after you're done, you're going to trim off the excess. So I'll go ahead and join it on this side, join it together on this side, and then fix the zipper with the space that I have there for zipper. And after doing all of that, I'll come back to show you the very next thing to do. And here it is after I was done joining it on this side with 1/2 inch, and I trimmed it off. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a very tiny allowance there that I left there. Also fixed the zipper, and now we are going to go ahead and do the final measurement. This is how I like to do my measurement. Make sure that the bust area is cupped. Then you're going to take your bust measurement divided by 2, then you mark it. Then whatever you have there, you're going to divide it and share it on both sides. Repeat the same thing on the waist. Your waist divided by 2 this time around, divided by 2, you mark it, and then you measure what you have from there to the end, and then you divide whatever value you have into 2 and share it on both sides. Okay, go ahead and do the same thing for the hip part. Your hip measurement divided by 2, you're going to mark it down. Then you're going to measure what you have from here to here, divide that by 2 and share it on both sides. And repeat the same thing for the knee part. While cutting the fabric, you divide your circumference by 4, but while doing your final measurement, you're going to divide your circumference by 2 respectively. The bust, the waist, the hip, the knee. Okay, So after this, I'm going to connect all the dots just like as you can see it here. Then I'm going to just sew on that exact line. It's very simple. I'll sew there and that's it. Can you see? So this is actually one of my favorite finishing because it's easy, it's fast, and it also saves time. Can you see the waistline are matching up? And basically your gown is ready. The only thing left is the sleeve, and when I arrange it, can you see that slit? Can you see how neat and beautiful it is? So I'm going to show you how to go about the sleeve now. You're going to take it like this. I want I had to turn it like I said, like I showed you after cutting it. So you're going to sew it all around and you have this space, just this space here, just to turn it out. I want I had to do that and I also ironed it. Now you're going to keep it like this. Can you see that? That's if you're going for this style. That's not how to fix the sleeve. I hope you know that. And then you're going to stitch following the line of the bustier, and then for the back is going to be just the normal way, the regular way you fix the sleeve. Just this front part, you're going to pin it down on this front here, and then when you want to stitch it, you stitch following the bustier line, and then for the back you're just going to arrange it like this, and then you're going to sew with half inch, just the same way you join your sleeves. And that's it. But if you want to go for the regular way to join your sleeves, then you don't have to turn the armhole area. You don't have to turn it with your lining. You leave it open like that. Then you're going to just follow the same shape that you have there and join your sleeves. Okay, but for this part, you're going to join following the line of the bustier. Then when we get to the back, we are going to just follow the shape of the armhole and join it. And that's it for this tutorial. I hope you gained something. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and if you have questions, do well to leave your constructive questions in the comment section, and I'll see you on my next one. Be good. Bye.